Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining. So today I want to discuss the 2023 sales figures for the Mopar brands within Stellantis. They are just recently out, so I want to discuss those. And of course, we're talking specifically about the Mopar brands, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Dodge. For now, I really don't care about those other Stellantis brands. I'm not really concerned with those. In any event, we'll talk about that, especially given the discussion in my last video about the mysterious strategy of Stellantis moving forward with the Mopar brands here in the United States. It's kind of baffling, but if we look at the sales figures from last year and then kind of project that forward and see what implications this has next year and beyond. So let's start off with the Jeep brand and look at the models within Jeep. And this chart shows the middle column is fourth quarter sales versus fourth quarter last year. And then year sales, 2023 year, that says current year, that's 2023 versus prior year. So we can see where we're at. Now, let's look at the right-hand column. Let's look at the year sales, current year sales versus last year's sales. Actually, the Compass model did better in 2023 than it did in 2022. That's probably one of the anomalies, because if we look at the Wrangler's down in sales, Gladiator, Cherokee has been discontinued. So there will be no 2024 Cherokee. I'm not surprised. It's not only is it not a big seller, it's kind of confusing. You've got the Grand Cherokee and then you've got the Cherokee. A lot of people are confused by that. Grand Cherokee sales are actually up. It's one of the big sellers for Jeep. I have a 2021 Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. It's a fantastic car. A lot of people are trashing the current model Jeep, the current models within Jeep and the models within Dodge and so forth. But the Grand Cherokee has just been a fantastic car for me. It's reliable, it's fast, it's fun to drive. Anyway, it's just fantastic. In any event, we do see that year over year, 2023 sales were up for the Grand Cherokee. Renegade sales are down a little bit. Same with Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. Not surprised. I mean, Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer doesn't look like they're big sellers. These are huge vehicles that they have recently brought into being. So that's the deal. Now, if we go down to Ram, and we look at Ram and we look at current year versus prior year, and of course, first let's look at Ram pickups. And again, it is down about 5%. The ProMaster van is up, and of course, that's for businesses. That big tall van thing. In any event, the ProMaster City, that sales of that are down a little bit, but overall, Ram brand is down by just about 1%. Looking at Chrysler, the Chrysler 200 is no more. The Chrysler 300, 2023 was the last year of that, and sales were down a little bit. They were down about 7%, 2022 to 2023. Town and Country, they didn't make those in 2023 or in 2022, but sometimes you have models that are older that for some reason the dealer hung on to, that they just didn't sell. So then they put the sales into the current, or in this case, they put that into the current model year. Pacifica is up, and that is the minivan. And moving forward in 2024, that is basically the only model within Chrysler that's left. And sales were way up on the Pacifica, up 22%. And then Chrysler Brands, because of the Pacifica, overall was up 19% from 2022 to 2023. And of course, Pacifica is the minivan within Chrysler Brands, and it's the only one left. There is no more Dodge Caravan. The Plymouth Voyager, of course, is long gone, years and years ago. So that is something that is still happening. There's also the Pacifica minivan. There is a plug-in hybrid version of that, and that's kind of popular. So now we look at the Dart model within the Dodge brands. The Dodge brands, let me see if I can get that out. There are some Darts left over from previous model years, as well as Vipers. Not surprised about the Vipers. I'm sure there were dealers that held on to some Viper models thinking that they would go up in value and that they would sell them later on. So nationwide, and by the way, these are U.S. sales figures. This does not include Canada. U.S. sales figures. The Hornet, of course, there was no Hornet in 2022, only in 2023. Only 9,314 units sold in 2023. Not a big seller. Huge disappointment. There's a lot of leftover inventory that didn't sell. Charger, last model year for the Charger is 2023. There are going to be some 2023 models sold in 2024. There was some inventory left over. Same thing with the Challenger. Challenger sales were down from 2022 to 2023. These sales figures, very sad because, as you can see within Dodge, Charger and Challenger were the highest sellers within the Dodge brand. The Dakota, or rather the Dakota, that's going back. The Durango was close, but with Charger and Challenger gone, Dodge sales in 2024 are going to be way down, and they don't have any replacements yet. So again, it's kind of baffling why Stellantis got rid of their biggest sellers without having a replacement instead of just leaving them be. Remember, Charger and Challenger, they don't just come in the V8 models. There's also a V6 model of that, and also the 5.7 V8, isn't the high performance version, but it is a V8, and they are very big sellers, within people that want a four-door sedan. Also, there's a big lease market, or rather, there's a market, lease, yes, rent-a-cars, also police cars, huge market, and now the Chargers are no more, so mainly police agencies are going to SUVs these days. So that's the Dodge brand. Again, I'm not going to talk about Fiat and Alfa Romeo for right now. So that's the deal with that. If we look at Canada, we see also, again, as you can see, Canada is small compared to the U.S. market, but Jeep brands are down 15% from 2022 to 2023. Chrysler brands down 23%. So in Canada, they're down, even though thanks to the Pacifica in the U.S., the Chrysler brand was up. Dodge brand was up 25% in Canada. And again, that is mainly because of the Charger and the Challenger. People are trying to grab those last available Chargers and Challengers. So that's the deal. That's the deal for Canada and the United States. Now, I want to say something right now about Ram trucks. And, there's been a lot of criticism that Ram, people, it's not going to do well. They're very expensive, and this is true. Ram, since Stellantis has taken over, the prices of the Mopar brands have gone way up, and including Ram. I mean, they're very expensive. The people I know that have Ram trucks that have spent the money for them, they love them. They're great vehicles, and the fact that they're not doing as well as Ford and GM and Chevy trucks, that's true, but Ram are still huge sellers. And I just want to show you this. This is from Motor1.com. And if you look at the three highest selling vehicles overall, number one is the Ford F-Series pickup. Not a surprise. It has been the case for years and years. Number two is the Chevy Silverado pickup truck. But number three is Ram pickup. And last year, 2023, they sold 444,926 units. So that's nothing to sneeze at. That's really great. So, there is a little problem though. Starting in 2025, Ram will not have a V8 option. And, for people that have pickup trucks, you got to have that V8 option. They, even if you have the Hurricane straight six twin turbo engine, it's not the same as a V8 in many respects. So in any event, this is something that's to be concerned about moving forward. Another thing I wanted to mention, and there's been a lot of complaining about this, is the dependability and reliability of the Chrysler brands. especially in my last video, there were a lot of people that were saying, oh, Dodge is done, Jeep is done, Ram is done. They haven't been reliable and dependable for years. They're not great cars. That is not the case. I have a feeling this is by people that haven't owned a Mopar vehicle since maybe the 80s, maybe the K-car days, because, again, I bought a 2015 Challenger Hellcat, and it is one of the best cars I've ever owned. It's fun to drive. It's dependable. You can drive it even though it's a super high-performance car. You can drive it as a regular daily driver, and it's just fantastic. It handles great. The fit and finish is good. The reliability is fantastic. I also own a 2021 Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, and again, one of the best cars I've ever owned. Knock on wood, I have not had to bring it in for any servicing. It's been fantastic. It's dependable, fun to drive. So again, among the best cars I've ever driven. And I just have a feeling the people that have been complaining about Chrysler of late, Chrysler Brands of late, haven't driven them. The 300, the same case. Now, if you look at the J.D. Power dependability study from 2023, we see that Dodge is above average. I mean, it is there, above Cadillac and Mazda, above BMW, above, most of the German brands. Not surprising. German brands, everybody says how great they are, the engineering, but they break down a lot, the people I know that have them. And once out of warranty, they are hugely expensive, prohibitively expensive to repair. So in any event, don't discount the Mopar brands. Now, this, of course, is before Stellantis. So bottom line, based on the sales figures from 2023 and looking forward on which models are still going to be available within the Chrysler brands, things aren't necessarily looking that great. For Jeep, the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer kind of flopped. They just are not selling a lot. The Grand Cherokee is still doing very well. There's still a V8 option, though. And what happens when that goes away? So I worry about that. The Dodge brands, I'm really worried about that because, as you know, their biggest sellers, the Charger and the Challenger, have been discontinued. And that leaves the Durango. That's still available. It still has a V8 in 2024, but that's going to be going away as well. And there'll just be the inline 6 twin-turbo Hurricane engine. And that is due for supposedly a revamping. It's the current model Durango is going to be going away, and that doesn't leave much. The Hornet has been a big flop, so Dodge can't depend on the Hornet to carry them. So I worry about Dodge brand. Chrysler, right now, the Pacifica is doing very well. It's the only minivan within the Chrysler brands, and that's Pacifica minivan model. Again, if you want a minivan, that's the model you've got to go to, and there is a plug-in hybrid electric of that. Chrysler, though, is going all electric moving forward. Again, it was projected by, I think, 2028. I'm not sure what the latest projection is, but again, the EV market has crashed. Stellantis can't depend on all electrics if they want Chrysler brand to remain alive. So that's about it for now. Put your comments below what you think is going to happen to the Chrysler brands and what Stellantis is going to do moving forward. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. Those things really help a lot. Take care. We'll see you next time.